On this week's program, people intentionally misunderstand the definition of luxury goods. Crom laughs at your safety tools, laughs from his mountain. The Raw crowd cries about a Gygax quote while it's still missing the point. And the classic gaming world embarrasses itself over a t-shirt. Yes, friends and followers of common sense and logical thought, it is that time again where we stoke our fires to see which hot takes in the TTRPG world went right past seared to burnt. Though the cooking analogy doesn't quite hold up because none of this was particularly well done. Announcement time first, and this is a big announcement. A very big one. Longtime viewers here know that my aim for this channel is to take the revenue it hopefully generates one day to restore and then give away cool cars to my subscribers. The plan was to get monetized, get the revenue coming in, then start a Patreon and memberships once I had a project to give away. I don't have 3,000 watch hours yet, so no super chats or memberships. I don't have 1,000 subs, so no ad revenue yet. But circumstances have changed, so this week my Patreon will go live. There are a few more details to hammer out and a few more hoops to jump through to establish a firm timeline, but all I'll say right now is that through an act of incredible generosity, plans to give away a classic car have accelerated. There will be more on this later this week, but for now, be on the lookout for my new Patreon and the details on how you can take part in the restoration of a cool old car that may one day you may have the keys to. And now, more than ever, you can benefit from liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. So now, on to the idiocy. There were several acts of war committed against IQs in the average or above range this week. So let's get cracking and try and keep things quick and as painless as possible. We start with a common sentiment floating around regarding TTRPGs and the impact of tariffs on them. I pulled a comment from Griff Morgan over at Secrets of Blackmore as an illustration, but he is by no means the only person doing this. I hate disingenuous and obtuse bad faith arguments. In this case, it is the intentional ignorance of the term luxury item as it relates to discussions about spending habits and financial decisions. In the course of discussions about how increased tariffs can hurt the TTRPG hobby, one common reality that gets pointed out is that even if the games don't suffer a large price increase, perhaps because the books aren't subject to tariffs or because there are no tariffs on digital goods like PDFs, publishers of TTRPGs will still suffer because when staple items like dry goods and fuel or necessities like clothing or transportation increase in cost, people will eliminate luxuries like new TTRPG books, dice, etc. from their budgets. This is simply a fact, and every person on the face of the planet who reads English well enough to be involved in TTRPGs understands that in this case, the luxury item doesn't mean diamond jewelry, exotic sports cars, yachts, and private planes. Luxury items mean stuff that's nice to have but not necessary, like cable TV, Netflix, latest cell phone, going to the movies, eating out instead of cooking, and yes, buying a new TTRPG, funding a Kickstarter, or downloading a PDF. When Griff quotes an X post asking, "Is D&D really a luxury?" It's always been in my life, and I don't see it that way. And then he adds the commentary of, caviar and champagne are luxuries. These items cost a lot and are also consumed. Most people can't afford those on a daily basis. By comparison, an RPG is designed to be afforded by the masses. Before going on about how RPGs aren't made from exotic materials or precious commodities, this is disingenuous claptrap. He isn't that stupid. He knows good and damned well no one is comparing the 2024 Monster Manual to a Lamborghini. Well, I mean, maybe a 1978 Lamborghini Silhouette that can only be relied on for poor performance and frequent breakdowns, but I digress. This is done as a way to hand wave away valid concerns over the potential impacts simply because you lack the ability to put together a valid rebuttal and you don't want to admit that maybe a political move that you favor will have negative impacts in an area that you don't want them to. Stop it. It's stupid. Moving on, the new Conan RPG dropped, and it included the single least Conan-like nonsense one could ever expect. That's right, safety tools and content warnings in a Conan game. By idiots. For idiots. Listen to this garbage. Though the original Conan stories are frequently lurid and occasionally veer into uncomfortable stereotypes of race and culture, there is no reason that the tabletop experience needs to mirror these elements. The game master and players should establish the boundaries of comfort for the content and behavior within the game, identifying any potentially troublesome aspects that will make players uncomfortable, at the risk of spoiling their enjoyment of the game. Various methods exist for establishing table rules, whether safety tools such as X cards, cards that can be shown when a subject should be dropped, player checklists of undesirable topics, or a simple conversation before play about potentially problematic subjects. Not everyone has the same limits, and these should be respected equally. If a player doesn't want to experience scenes of torture, cruelty, degradation, racism, sexism, or something less obvious, the game master and other players should respect that and adjust the gameplay accordingly. That's right, folks. There's no reason your Conan game should reflect the Conan stories or themes, or include stuff that was included in the Conan stories and themes. And while we're at it, there's no reason that your Babe Ruth game should feature baseball, nor should your F1 racing game have high-speed driving included because somebody might have had a car crash in the past. This is idiocy of the highest order. If you don't like what the IP highlights, leave the IP alone for people who respect it. Crom laughs at your safety and comfort. Now go away while I hear the lamentations of your women. In OSR news, the Rawtards are at it again. This time it's all about how the Gary Gygax quote, "The secret we should never let the game masters know is that they don't need any rules," is apocryphal and has no primary source. Where did he ever say this? Why are rule books called rule books if the rules aren't meant to be followed? Oh boy. More of this moronic dichotomy where one day Gary Gygax, whatever he said or how he played doesn't matter, and only our specific interpretation of the exact words in the book matter when it comes to the one true way. And the next day, Gary never said any of that. Show me the double verified video recording with chain of custody. Of course you can't, because Gary was infallible and clearly wouldn't have written any rule that wasn't letter perfect. All the while, they choose to either ignore or creatively redefine Rule 0, the rule explicitly written into every single edition of the game that says some version of, these are guidelines, strong guidelines, but still guidelines, and game masters can change, add, or omit as they please. I'm very much a rules as written guy, and these clowns need to come quickly to the realization that Rule 0 is rules as written. It's written right there in the book by the man who probably said something similar to the quote that they're attacking all the time, and he probably said it several times in several different ways to several different people. To finish off this jumbo edition of Micro Intellect, we have an absolute clown show going on between Patty's Parlor Games, Blackwall DM, and Ryan David of Nerd Cognito. Why? Most likely parallel thinking, just to be honest about it. Both Patty and Nerd Cognito posted a t-shirt on their merch shops featuring 2D20 with the text, "Game like you have a pair," and "Game like you got a pair," respectively. Blackwall comes out and calls Ryan David scum and says he stole Patty's t-shirt design less than 24 hours after it was posted. Patty, of course, points out how bad a thief he is because he said have a pair on his shirt instead of got a pair like the original. Then he drops a Ghostbusters logo design featuring Ryan David's face and calls it Cuckbusters. Ryan David, of course, claims he had the shirt listed for months and that it was just recently updated and that's why the date changed, even though that's also not exactly true. And he took the Cuckbusters logo and actually threw it up as his profile picture just as a troll. The entire thing is childish and stupid. Neither of these two can claim this design or idea as any kind of original thought. The designs are different. Patty simply has dice. Nerd Cognito has different dice in front of a suggestive dice bag. The fonts are different, etc. As for the game like you got a pair / have a pair, whatever a pair saying, I hate to point out that neither of you are all that clever. I'm almost 100% certain that I have a variant of that concept somewhere that I bought from a game shop in the early 3rd edition days. If I remember correctly, mine says roll like you got a set there and has a full set of dice. There are entire lines of poker related merch that says things like bet, play, call, game, etc. like you have a pair. This is not some clever phrase no one thought of before, and it isn't something that no one put on a shirt or a hat before. In fact, I guarantee you that if you look hard enough, some guy who doesn't even have an X or a gaming channel who has been selling a variant of that design at conventions since the 1980s is out there. So maybe instead of jumping to, boo-hoo, this was my idea first and you stole it, you should consider parallel thinking. It's common in comedy where two observational comics come up with very similar jokes on a subject around the same time, and a lot of times it leads to some embarrassing false accusations of joke stealing. Just sell your shirts and quit crying because somebody hit the market with a similar design and you don't like it. And just so we can head this off so it doesn't end up in this video next week or the week after. No, the other guy with a Crom laughs at your comfort shirt didn't steal it from you. We're all making that joke right now, and I assure you that the idea to slap it on a sticker isn't a divine revelation exclusive to you. That's all I got today. Keep an eye open for my new Patreon and details on why it's launching early later this week, plus a video on skills in TTRPG systems. And I'll see you guys next time.